Ambassador Villarosa, have you been on to the streets of Rangoon today?
Yes, I have.
How is it?
It's quieter than it was last week. There's a very heavy military presence around town with barricades still in place in key areas downtown where that were the center of protest.
So you see soldiers everywhere?
Not everywhere, but again, downtown there's a very visible military presence.
As far as you know, where have all the monks and students gone?
I hate to think where they might be, but we have gone by a number of monasteries, and they're empty. And it's frightening to think why that is.
Is it true that most of the monasteries have been taken over by soldiers?
Some of them are just sitting empty, and then in other places there are sort of soldiers around them, like they're sort of imprisoning them or some sort of lockdown condition.
Did you see normal people going about normally?
In town?
Yeah.
Yes. People are traveling around town. Buses are moving. Businesses are open.
What have you heard about the situation in other cities in Burma?
We have received reports of demonstrations in other cities, and plus we've received disturbing reports of arrests taking place, particularly in Mandalay, of monks and of NLD members in Mandalay. Most of the time, these arrests happen in the middle of the night. And they're continuing to go into the monasteries in the middle, like 2 o'clock in the morning.
You mean in Rangoon things may be quiet, but in other major cities such as Mandalay, the protesters may be more active there?
No, I mean, I think that what they're doing is the military is on a campaign around the country to go around and arrest anybody they regard as troublemakers throughout the country. I don't know, there's not protests going. I heard that last night there were numerous arrests made in Mandalay.
Yes. Have you been able to establish how many people have died?
No, we cannot. I mean, the government admits to 10. We suspect that there's far more than that.
Yeah. How many more?
I would only be guessing, and it's definitely more than 10.
Yes. And the number of monks and students arrested, detained?
Again, we don't have, the government's not announcing any numbers on that, but we would put it in the thousands by now.
Mr. Ibrahim Kambali is in Rangoon.
He actually, I think, is on his way or is back in Naypyidaw, the new capital.
So he's sort of shuttling between Naypyidaw and Rangoon now.
Yes.
As far as you know, has he finally met General Tan Choi?
We don't know. We understand that when he went up Saturday and Sunday morning, he did not meet with Tan Choi.
You know who he met?
We've been told that he met with Thein Sein, Secretary Wan.
And he did meet with Aung San Suu Kyi.
We understand from UN sources that he met with Aung San Suu Kyi yesterday.
In fact, one report said the meeting lasted for 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Again, we weren't there, so we didn't time it. But we did, I think that's pretty common knowledge.
Do you think it's a good sign then that Gambari managed to meet Aung San Suu Kyi?
Well, one, because there were concerns about her whereabouts, and there had been reports a week or so ago that she had been taken out of her home and put into insane prison. So presumably Mr. Gambari could find out firsthand and also find out her state of health. I think if there's any bright light, I mean, we can only hope as the international community that some discussions get going between Tan Shwe and Aung San Suu Kyi and other representatives of the pro-democracy movement.
Yes.
It's very clear that the people here want a more open and democratic government. And until Tan Shwe can, grasp this and begin to address it, then the country can start to move forward. That's what the protesters were at. They weren't asking anything unreasonable last week. They were saying, talk to us. And they were entirely peaceful, very well behaved. There was no vandalism, rocks, nothing.
They were chanting and praying.
They were chanting and praying. They were passing through town very peacefully. People were coming out to observe them, but they were not unnecessarily blocking traffic. People, when they marched by, they weren't beeping their horns or anything else expressing frustration. I think they were standing in for the majority of Burmese people who want to see change.